Hello everybody and welcome to week 1 of the Pokemon Premier League. This week we are facing Jack, none other than my fiance himself. What a week 1 matchup. As you can see, this is going to be a post-commentated battle, and spoiler alert, so is my week 2, because whilst I was trying to make space on my computer, I deleted all of my audio files in Audacity. So everyone laugh at me in the comments and call me a dumb bitch, because that is what I am. Anyway, let's look at this matchup, shall we? He has the Iron Bundle, the Blaziken, the Necrozma, Hydrapple, the Terra Rhyperior, and a Granbull, whilst I am rocking the Landorus, the Iron Hands, the Dragapult, the Lycanroc, the Heatran, and the Terra Araquanid. My thought process going into this game was break with Landorus and finish the job with Scarf Dragapult. Just Shadow Ball my way to victory. Scarf Pult looks really strong in the endgame here, as long as we get chip on Blaziken and the Necrozma, but other than that, it's looking pretty good. So that's my game plan really, is kind of get Pult into a position to win in the endgame. Going into this game, I want to Terastallize with my Araquanid straight away, so I'm not weak to Freeze Dry on Bundle. I also resist the close combat from the Blaziken, and I can also switch into Hydrapple more reliably. So that is my plan going into it. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to lead with our Terra Fairy Araquanid, as he leads with his own Granbull. That's not the worst lead in the world. I can fairly safely Terra on this, as he's actually going to opt to withdraw. So we do get a free Terra turn 1, which is lovely. He does opt to go out into the Hydrapple as a response to this. I guess he's fearing Terra Water Banded Liquidation, which is a fair assumption to make. But no. So he's going to see that we are Terra Fairy straight away. And Araquanid now has a nice hat. So we can all look at that and enjoy it. I'm going to go for this liquidation here, and it's going to do the square sum of 0. That does nothing. Here I'm debating, I feel like Heatran is a pretty safe switch early on. If he goes for Earth Power, he goes for Earth Power. But I feel like I can pretty sensibly get up my rocks here in front of this Hydrapple. Unfortunately for me, Jack is a much better player than I am, and he goes into Iron Bundle, so he just makes a fantastic double on his part. And I start panicking, because he is in complete control of this early game. But it is what it is. We're going to swap out our Heatran, not wanting to take a Hydro Pump, and we go into our Araquanid, our designated check for this bundle, and he flip turns. So, whilst we're kind of in the draft player loop right now of switching and doing whatever, but we get some nice chip on him with flip turn with the Rocky Helmet, and he now goes into his Rhyperior. This is incredibly scary. I debate what to go into here, and my thought process was, well, he's going to be Terra Fairy in this matchup because it deals with Pult. Pult is a big threat to his team. It works with the matchup. I can just go into Heatran and threaten him out. Also, my thought process was, if he clicks Earthquake here, then at least I'm going to die, and I'm immediately going to be able to revenge him with something. But unfortunately, he is Terra Water. Not only is he Terra Water, he Swords Dances, and now I have a Heatran that's in front of it that can't touch it. So this early game has just been horrific for me. I'm not going to be able to get up my Stealth Rocks here. I do contemplate going for a Lava Plume to get a burn, but in the end I just opt to go for Earth Power and get some damage on this thing. This way I can come in and revenge it with Grass Knot Landorus. So down goes my Heatran. And yeah, just a horrific couple of turns at the beginning of this game. Jack's just been in control this entire time. And instead of going out into Landorus, because I'm a big dum-dum, I go into my Lycanroc. I thought, I'm focus/counter. We've got the tech, we're gonna bring the tech. And then upon bringing the tech in, I think to myself, oh shit, Jack is the most loaded dice enjoyer I've ever met. So I'm actually, instead of clicking counter, I'm really thinking about it though. Instead of clicking counter, like any normal person would click, I click close combat. And I thought, well, if this is max HP Rhyperior, then there's a good chance that this adamant close combat is going to 2-hit KO it. So I'm going to do that with the hopes that, that will happen. So not only does that not 2-hit KO, he's also Citrus Berry, which is horrific because that tells me he's not loaded dice Rock Blast. So I should have just clicked counter. But instead, I'm a big dum-dum. and I doubt myself and my prep, and I click close combat. I make the wrong move again. So not a good start at all. I stay in and click close combat again because I don't have a switch into a +2 Rhyperior. I just don't. It doesn't exist. I don't have one. But miraculously, for some reason, he switches out. He goes into his Necrozma, and I am incredibly confused at this point. So now this Necrozma's in, we get to see what kind of set it is, and he gets up his rocks, which is really bad for me because now Lando isn't going to be able to live a Flare Blitz after rocks if he's Adamant Life Orb, which is a big sad. He goes for Protect to get some leftovers recovery back, which is smart. So Liz and the Necrozma are already putting in some work, and he's going to swap out into his Hydrapple here as we go for another Stone Edge. But getting damage on this Necrozma was nice, because maybe we can come in with Dragapult later and just spam Shadow Ball. So that's nice. Hydrapple is then going to take a big chunk of damage from Close Combat. Close Combat being the most amount of damage output I can have on this Lichen Rock. If I was Endeavor, that would have been fire. But unfortunately, we were not. He's going to take me out with a Earth Power, and I finally get some offensive pressure back on. But instead, I go into Iron Hands, because for some reason, instead of actually thinking about what I go into, I'm just like, fuck it, we ball. We're going to go into Iron Hands. We're going to kill... Nope. We're not going to kill something. We're going to click Drain Punch on the Regenerator Pokemon as he goes out into Necrozma, which was probably specifically brought for Iron Hands. So, again... just making all the wrong reads this game. I just complete shambles, but it's okay because we can still win with Scarfpult. We just need to position ourselves where Scarfpult can win. So we go into Araquanid here because I don't want to get Thunderwaved. I think he may have Thunderwave for the Pult. I was really considering going into it like to make the offensive switch because I just need to do that at this point. I need to make an offensive play. But instead I opt to go into my Araquanid, which is the most passive Araquanid I think I've ever brought in my entire career. As you can see, it's Rest Talk with Mirror Coat. And instead of going for Mirror Coat here, I opt for Rest because I'm like, well, if I'm at full HP, I can deal with Bundle, right? Wrong. Bad move, Ellie. You should have clicked Mirror Coat here and just killed the Necrozma and then let something come in and kill you, and then you can get offensive control back. But instead of that, I click Rest, and now he gets to go into his fucking Hydrapple and regenerate more health. So this entire game it's not gone well for your girl. It hasn't. She's made all the wrong reads, she's made all the wrong plays, and at this point, I think she's pretty flustered. We get the liquidation off the Sleep Talk, which is nice, but it doesn't matter because this is a Hydrapple that quad resists to liquidation and just doesn't care about it. And at this point, I'm like, fuck it. He's not clicking Draco. He's not. I'm just going to have to go into my Pult here because I need some offensive momentum. And he withdraws. I'm like, that's a big win. We take those. And he goes out into his Golden Nuggets, his Rhyperior. His Grand Ball is still alive at full HP, and I'm like, well, I can't drop a Draco here, but at the same time, Shadow Ball doesn't kill it, so... I'm really debating between Shadow Ball and Draco here, but I'm like, Rhyperior is the biggest threat to my team over a fucking Grand Ball, so I click Draco as he goes into the Grand Ball. So once again, Jack has read me like an absolute fucking book. My jimmies are ridiculously rustled at this point. I would argue that my feathers are just, they've fallen off. They're not ruffled. I am a complete plucked bird at this point, because fuck me. I have got everything wrong this game. So back we go into our Araquanid as he goes for the play rough, and just to add insult to injury, he crits me. So we can't take another one now, I don't think. But you know what? Fuck it, whatever. Everything's gone wrong this game. I'm just going to stay in and sleep talk at this point because Araquanid is fucking useless. Terrible set. I should never have brought it. He goes into his Rhyperior because he's a smart player and he's going to take this opportunity to, you know, set up a Swords Dance or whatever. So Araquanid's in, we're going to get Sleep Talk, and we're going to hit Liquidation. So, you know what? Araquanid, fair play. You know what? I brought a dogshit set, but you hit Liquidation every time. So I'm proud of you for that, buddy. Proud of you for that. We're going to go out into our Dragapult here, because I'm like, well, I can take a Stone Edge, I can take an Earthquake, and I can kill this at this point. And if his Assault Vest... and if his Grand Ball isn't Assault Vest, we should be able to 2-hit KO it. So I feel fairly confident going into Pult there and just, you know, I'm just going to start clicking things. I'm going to start, you know, hitting buttons. So we go for the Shadow Ball as he reveals that he is very much Assault Vest on Ground Ball. And at this point, I've just got full-on depression. Like, everything has gone wrong this game. He's brought incredible prep. I've played like a complete fucking lunatic and idiot. And at this point, I'm embarrassed. I start pissing myself. I start crying. I'm sobbing. I'm literally reduced to a blob on the floor. Honestly, it's a good thing that my audio got deleted. Because at this point, I just start sobbing because I'm like, well, I lose this game. I don't think there's any way I can come back from this. So instead of going out into Lander Assyrian, I'm like, well, fuck it. I can just go into Iron Hands. Maybe I can set up a substitute and he misses a play rough. This is my opportunity to, start doing things with Iron Hands. So I'm going to go for the substitute and just pray he misses a play rough. But Jack, being the smart player he is, he doesn't go for play rough. He goes for Earthquake. And I've just lost 25% of my Iron Hands health for nothing. So not only am I now in range of a Specs Hydro Pump, I'm not capable of being behind a substitute. So, that's just not good for me. I click Wild Charge here because I'm like, I'm fucking sick of this Ground Ball. This Ground Ball needs to die. And that he does. Ground Ball dies. We get a kill. Hashtag not a 6-0. Love that for us. Unfortunately, now he gets to go into Necrozma and just fucking murder my Iron Hands. But Iron Hands is too valuable, so instead I opt to go out into my Araquanid, sack it, because Araquanid... why did I bring this set? This set was awful. What a terrible, terrible piece of prep from me. But you know what? We'll move on from that. We learn from that next week, and it's fine. We don't bring fucking Sleep Talk Miracle next week. It's fine. So we go into Landorus here because I'm pretty sure an Earth Power kills. But instead of going for Earth Power, I go for Nasty Plot, and he makes the offensive switch into Modernal. And at this point, I'm crying my eyes out. Like, there is snot pouring out of my nose. Because this entire game has just been an incredibly embarrassing performance. And commentating over this is honestly a little embarrassing. I'm annoyed at myself watching this game back. During editing, there were times where I had to pause it and was like, Ellie, what are you doing? Just honestly, what are you doing? So my Landorus gets fucking obliterated. It just didn't stand a chance, did it? Just absolutely just fell over. And we're going to go for the Wild Charge because if he has any kind of bulk investment, this Drain Punch wasn't about to kill. So to bring the differential down, I go for Wild Charge. I kill the Iron Bundle. And we get a crit. Crit didn't matter. But, I guess that's nice, I guess. We're going to take ourselves down to the Redwood Recoil. Maybe if we got a crit on the Drain Punch, we'd be in a better position, but I don't think it mattered in hindsight. He reveals that he was Air Balloon on Blaziken anyway, so it didn't matter if I was +2 with Landorus, because I couldn't have killed it. Yeah, that's going to seal the game. He's going to take me out of Flare Blitz, and we are going to go with a 4-0 loss to start week 1 of the Pokemon Premier League. So overall, just honestly shocking performance. To say I was embarrassed is an understatement. That was just an awful game from me. And thankfully, it's probably the last week you'll ever see Sleep Talk or Araquanid. I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to bring defensive sets on anything anymore, especially with the team that I have. I think I just have to adjust my playstyle and just be a hyper offense player, because that's what my team is. This isn't Gen 6 anymore. You can't just be bulky offense, baby. You gotta be all out offense or you just die. You lose. So, shocking week 1. But it is what it is. Jack absolutely read me like a book. He played and prepped fantastically. So congratulations to Jack for absolutely spanking me week 1. The tensions were incredibly high in the house after I lost that game, by the way, because I just could not stop crying, and he felt really bad afterwards. And then I was like, no, don't feel bad. I just it was really funny because I was like, don't feel bad. You're a really good player. I'm just a bit shit. And I basically just that was not a good week last week. But you know what? It is what it is. And yeah. Go check out Jack's side of this battle, by the way, because for one, it will be a live comm, and for two, it's going to be a good performance from him. You're actually going to see someone with good thinking processes and good prep, whereas this one was a bit of a train wreck. But never mind, we move. Next week, we face Q the Costa Rican. Again, it's going to be a post-com, but I promise you this battle is much better than the week 1 battle that we just had. So you got that to look forward to. I'm not shit in week 2. I promise. I promise it's not a disappointing performance next week. You need to tune into next. I redeem myself, okay? Without giving too much away, I'm going to get out of here. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the stream wreck. Make sure to check out Jack's Side of the Battle. And we'll see you next week.